Good afternoon. Module 1, Communication Personal Video Presentation. Hello, my name is Ty Vomsall. I am here to provide guidance and be a role model and a positive influence on the lives of others, as well as provide them a safe place to take risks, learn, and grow. I love to build positive relationships and share and teach real-world skills that will help any learner feel more confident in themselves and their abilities. So how I plan on doing that is by being an educator. So I am currently a teacher at Fort Collins High School in Fort Collins, Colorado in the Poudre School District. I've been a teacher at Fort Collins High School for 6 years. I've also been a teacher in general for 6 years. It was the first school that I got a job at, and I absolutely love it. The school, the community, my colleagues, the people I work with, the student population. It's a fantastic place to work. Specifically, I am a family and consumer sciences teacher, which is a lesser known subject area. It's probably a little bit more widely recognized by its previous name, home economics, but a little bit of rebranding and, just trying to change the viewpoint of the family and consumer sciences department away from that home ec, learn to make an omelet, learn how to sew a button, to involve a lot more of what it is that we actually teach now, which is ranging anywhere from culinary arts to nutrition and wellness to interior fashion design, child development. We even have classes designed for students and individuals who are interested in going on the education path, called Education Exploration and Teacher Cadet. So it's a very broad topic and subject area that focuses on a lot of more real-world skills for the real-world life. That's actually our slogan, is Real Skills for Real Life. So specifically, I teach Culinary Arts 1 and 2, Nutrition and Wellness, and Financial Life Management. I am part of the largest department in Colorado. Most family and consumer sciences departments are between 1 and 3, and we have 5 full-time teachers. So we have really grown the program and found a lot of success in Poudre School District and at Fort Collins High School. Another interesting thing is that I'm one of 3 male family and consumer sciences teachers in Colorado. I bring that up because that's one of my professional goals, is to just show a different perspective on the kinds of information and the correlation for home economics, and show that this information is important for any individual to know. And really just that I want to expand the program to influence and reach as many students as possible to impart life skills and knowledge and help students prepare for life outside of high school. While I'm not being a teacher, what makes me me is spending time with my friends, family, and dogs. I have 2 dogs, Cedric and Taco. Cedric is this orange-ish one, and Taco is a little Chihuahua. They're 3 and 5, so they're young and active and keep me active during the summer, which is good because we spend a lot of time hiking, camping, going to the gym. Golfing is one of my big hobbies. I'm currently like a 7 handicap, but working on that every summer. Definitely doesn't take more of my money than I plan to. And then something else that I spend a lot of my time on is cooking and developing new recipes. I love to play my own version of Home Chopped, which is just pull out ingredients from my fridge that are going to expire soon and figure out how I can use them together to get creative. It gives me a good creative outlet, and it's something that I really enjoy doing. As far as the communication tools that I use in my professional life, all of these communication methods that I use are provided by my school and or district. To my current knowledge, there isn't anything that I am looking to use that is not currently provided to me, although I would like to learn about some more communication tools because I feel like a lot of the ones that I use are fairly standard, and being a more effective communicator could only lead to a more positive outcome. So I'm interested in learning about what more I can be doing. But with students specifically, Google Classroom announcements and school email are probably my two most widely used. Google Classroom is my my classroom management site. So it's a place that every student learns and knows how to navigate and how to use. I post weekly agendas, learning targets that break down each day, class by class, what it is that we're doing, what the learning targets are, what the success criteria is, so that students know exactly what it is that they are learning, how they're going to demonstrate that, as well as be able to find links to assignments, activities, all of that stuff. I strongly encourage students to invite their parents parents or guardians onto their Google Classroom account so that they also have access to all of that, so that they can be a lot more involved and up to date on the day-to-day happenings in our classroom. We are a one-to-one school, so all students have a school-issued laptop and email address through Poudre School District, and it has been encouraged early on in their PSD career that they should be checking and using their email frequently as a main form of communication. So that has been an effective and easy way to communicate with students because they check their emails regularly. And now coming off of the back end of a hybrid online remote pandemic school year, it has opened up a whole new realm of communication tools for me to use for my professional life. Things like screen recorded videos, similar to what I'm doing right now, and then video conferencing, just so that I'm still able to offer a way to have that face-to-face communication and contact with parents or community members or students while getting around the roadblocks of things like, transportation or time, whatever it is. The video conferencing, we use Microsoft Teams, has allowed us to be able to do a lot more of that a lot more effectively. So with parents specifically, emails, phone calls, scheduled parent meetings, all of these things are good and regularly used forms of communication. I would say that email is probably the most frequent set of communication that I use for parents, just because it's convenient for them and it's convenient for me, and it has been encouraged in our district as the main form of communication. Phone calls are definitely used. I try to highlight at least one student per week and do some positive communication, make a phone call home and just have parents, guardians give them a quick rundown on, hey, your student did a really great job this week. I just wanted to reach out and just say how awesome it is that they're doing, because I feel like there is always a negative connotation with parent communication. People only make contact with parents if it's for something related to a behavior or an issue. And a lot of the times kids don't have behaviors or issues, and they just don't. It just goes unnoticed. And so I've always tried to make a point of making positive parent communication, just to reward those kids for, being hardworking, being involved, whatever it is. So I try to do at least one set of positive parent communication per week. Outside of that, we regularly update announcements on our teacher learning page so that parents are involved with what it is that we're doing on a weekly basis. And then parent-teacher conferences are another form of communication that we use once a semester. And then as far as with community members, communicating with them about what's going on in our classroom is mainly done through the school and district social media accounts, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, all of that good stuff, just giving a glimpse of what it is that's going on in the classroom, upcoming events, all of that good stuff. And then part of the Family and Consumer Sciences program involves a community advisory board that meets once a semester, that just involves the Family and Consumer Sciences educators as well as community members, to just talk about some of the discrepancies that community members are seeing in their fields, whether that's culinary arts or child and adolescent development care, or finance, just giving us an idea of what 21st century skills we should be teaching and things that we can do to help close the gap so that students go into the real world with more of those soft skills that they can use in the community or whatever community that they find themselves in. So those advisory boards are incredibly important for that specifically. As far as our communication policies for our district, we don't necessarily have specific policies for communicating effectively. We more have guidelines set by school and administration, which I follow because I think communication is important. And one of the big ones is just making sure that we are accessible for communication by providing things like email and phone numbers clearly listed on our teacher pages and syllabus, so that we're easy to reach if we need to. And then just making sure that we have a reasonable turnaround time for responding so that the communication is up to date, in keeping a communication log in the event of interventions to show that communication was made, because communication is step one. As far as the article readings and my big takeaways for the concepts of introductions, I think that introductions are definitely something that I didn't necessarily think about the importance of until after reading these articles, but part of being a good community and school leader is being an effective communicator and building those relationships with your colleagues, with your staff, with your community, your parents, your students. All of the best administrators and school leaders that I've worked with are effective communicators and easy to reach and are that trusted individual. And so starting with a good introduction to make a good first impression is definitely a good way to start off on the right foot and build those relationships. So my takeaway from Article 1 was showing vulnerability to lead to more authentic connections, to start building that trust right away, and involving friends and colleagues to help you nail down your talents and skills that maybe you have overlooked, to talk about, your story, what makes you special, what makes you you. Article 2, the gross article. Don't assume how others want to be referred to. Introduce yourself and learn what they would like to be called. I think that's an important thing to think about in a leadership role, so that you can give the respect that you need to whoever it is that you're working with, whether that's a parent or whether that's a school board member, just making sure that you don't cross any personal or professional boundaries. And then article number 3, my big takeaway is to tell your story and make it personal. Don't just have an introduction that's, hi, my name's Ty Vomsall. I'm a teacher at Fort Collins High School. Because if you take my name out of that and substitute in anyone else's name, it could be a completely true fact. You want to make sure that your introduction tells people who you are, not just what you do. That was my big takeaway from that third article, is making it so personal that your name can't just be changed out with anyone else's, and for it to still be a true fact. You want to make sure that you have that own personal story into your introduction, the background, the why. I've always been someone who appreciates to know the why behind things, so I think that's an important piece to add in. So for this assignment relating to our course learning objective, I think this assignment definitely relates and correlates to our course learning outcome, especially because we are using a variety of oral, written, and digital communication tools while we have dissected the information and reflected upon it to demonstrate that connection to the course learning outcomes selected for this assignment. So involving and practicing a variety of forms of communication helps to reflect on the importance and effectiveness of said communication tools and how to engage all stakeholders found within your school community. So for the relevancy and personal reflection, this assignment showed relevancy because as a school leader, you would need to be effective and open communicator to lead to the best success for all stakeholders. Promoting community engagement starts by being a personal communicator and being able to effectively make the right connections. And I think this assignment just drove home the point of starting off on the right foot, telling your why, and building connections, because